I've been a photographer for 15 years, and I want to give you guys a comparison of the Google Pixel 6a and the Google Pixel 6. But this is a review kind of for the photographers out there. Now let's get the hardware right out of the way on these two devices. The Google Pixel 6 is using the newer Samsung GN1 sensor. The Pixel 6a is using the time-tested Sony IMX363. Now, a difference between these two is the lenses on them. On the Google Pixel 6a, we have an f1.7 aperture lens. On the Google Pixel 6, we have an f1.9 aperture lens. Now, the difference in aperture isn't huge, but it goes without saying that the smaller camera on the Google Pixel 6a has room for a larger lens with just a bigger overall f-stop. So in some circumstances, the Pixel 6a might get you slightly faster shots if you have to take a longer exposure because of that slightly faster aperture. That said, when we run into the limitations of what Google will allow for the hand holdability of both of these devices, the Google Pixel 6 with its newer sensor and its newer sensor tech is able to get images that rival and sometimes better the Google Pixel 6a. During daylight and most normal lighting conditions, both of these devices are using the identical multi-frame HDR algorithm, and because of that, the results from both of these devices look identical in daylight. The color tuning, the way the images pop, the way that the Google adds their extra kind of auto magic layer of editing because the images do look highly processed when you get them out of the Pixel. It's identical on both devices. Now, for photographers out there, you might be wondering if you can do kind of some manual photography stuff or if you have some longer exposure modes on the Google Pixel 6a. And unfortunately, out of the box, you don't. On the Google Pixel 6, on the other hand, you have the action panning mode, which allows you to take action panning shots really easily on the Google Pixel 6. And you also have this automated handheld long exposure mode. Now, both of these modes work in all lighting conditions because Google is using multi-frame compression to go ahead and create fake blur with those added frames that it's getting after you take your image. Because of this, you don't actually need to have a tripod that you hold up, and going to the beach, you can take those milky water shots that all of us usually bring a tripod out to the beach for without needing a tripod. It's great. The Google Pixel 6a unfortunately doesn't have that. Now, another area where the Google Pixel 6a just kind of falls short compared to the Google Pixel 6 is surprisingly sometimes with performance. Something I've noticed on the Google Pixel 6a, using it side by side with the Google Pixel 6, is that when I am taking a succession of photos rapidly, the Google Pixel 6 allows me to take more. That's because it has the extra 2 GB of RAM versus the Google Pixel 6a, which is limited at 6 GB. And with the amount of computation and the amount of images that these sensors are pulling off, that extra RAM allows the phone to hold more images in cache while you take photos, and thus you don't have an interruption in shooting, or at least you don't have much of a perceived interruption when shooting. Now, if you guys are really on a budget and you're trying to figure out whether or not you should save up for a next lens or a next camera body, or the difference between a Google Pixel 6a and a Google Pixel 6, I would tell you to just buy a refurbished Google Pixel 6. I think that the difference in performance, not only in cameras, but also in charging performance and screen, is definitely worth it with the Google Pixel 6 over the Pixel 6a. That said, if you're on a really tight budget, the Google Pixel 6a is going to get you 95% of the same camera performance as the Google Pixel 6 at a reduced price. It's really only in the extremes or in those different specific shooting scenarios that you notice much of a difference between these two devices. Honestly, I think it's less than a stop of light difference between these two sensors, and that's just that. Till next time, it's been Mitchell. Peace.